lot of the magic I perform nowadays is magic that I create. I come up with my own effects. And people always ask me, say, well, how do you come up with a magic trick? What's that process like? Magic is like any other art. You get inspired by something. You start off with an idea, like, I want to pull thread through my face, for example. You start working on a way to do it. And oftentimes you can start off with one idea, and it changes so much over the years and evolves so much that you end up with a trick that's completely different from what you originally started out with. But it's that process, that evolution, that is important. So tonight, I'd like to try. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but I'd like to try to present for you and explain for you the complete evolution of a magic effect. Thank you. All right. So in order to do this, I'm going to need to borrow someone and something. I need to borrow a ring from someone, and I need someone to help me out. You have a very beautiful ring there. What's your name?
Monique.
Monique?
Yes.
Will you be willing to stand up and help me out? Let's give her a round of applause. How are you? Pleasure to meet you. I'm Wayne.
Nice to meet you.
This is a gorgeous ring. Is this, I didn't see which finger you took it off. Is this your
My
wedding ring?
Wedding ring.
It is your
you
wedding
want a
ring.
different one?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. Actually, I've seen a lot of magic, and I've seen a lot of magicians borrow wedding rings and do tricks with them. Have you seen many tricks with rings?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A couple.
A couple. One of the things that I started to think about as I was performing and getting a little bit older in magic is I started to think about, especially after I got married, I started to think and ask myself, when would I feel comfortable giving my wedding ring to a complete stranger during a magic show?
An expert in con and fraud.
Right. Well, the conclusion I came up with is that never. So thank you, first off. Second, I do promise to be very careful with it. We're going to seal it into our little envelope here.
And mail it to Bakersfield.
That'll take a year.
That's good. I need to put a stamp on this. I'll remember that.
Or not.
That's very good. Or not. Right.
Oh my God.
I just like the taste of it. They have, you know what they have now? They have lollipops that they've flavored like envelope glue. I'm not joking. It's actually awesome. Take this pen. Do you remember when you got the ring? Of course you do.
Oh,
No,
here.
when was that?
Don't
He was another date. Oh, it was my birthday.
Yes, I know the date.
What
You're at the
birthday?
palace.
We're at the Palace in Santa Barbara.
What was
Really?
the date, though?
April.
I was thinking more of the wedding date, really.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It took me a minute there. I was like, wow, you really don't remember? Oh, just put the date right there.
The wedding date?
The wedding date. That would be great.
What was the wedding
We'll blame it on the lights, the powerful lights. Perfect. You can cap that pen. I'll steal it back from you. Perfect. Now, this envelope is going to become part of a very important necklace. I'm just going to clip it right on here. And because it's your ring, it's going to be your necklace. So if you take a step right up front, I'm going to put this on you here. And it is yellow, which does go perfectly with your dress, I've noticed. Right? How's it look? That didn't seem too sincere. Good enough. Is that comfortable? That's not too tight?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Take a step over this way here. Now, in order to explain this to you, I need to start at the very beginning. All right? I was 6 or 7 years old, and I got my very first archery set.
Oh, no.
Right, a bow and arrow. Right? Anybody here shoot a bow and arrow?
This is not going good.
Okay. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. And when I was 6, I was obsessed. Now, I was determined to perfect the art of archery. My dad, he took like a nail and hammered up one of the old paper targets right to our back fence, and I would go out and I would shoot. And I was determined to perfect this particular sport. As it turns out, that took me about 2 weeks. I was 6 years old. I didn't know anyone else who did it, and I was convinced I was the best. Now, around the same time, I heard the classic story of William Tell, right? Shooting the apple off of his son's head with an arrow. So one day, my dad's out of town on a business trip. My mom's on the phone. She's walking around the house. My little brother wasn't doing much. I miss him too. He was 2 years younger than me. He was a short little skinny guy, but he was just about the same height as my target. So I backed him right up against the fence outside, and I put an apple on his head. And I paced off about 20 feet. I got set. I was determined to make Houchin family history that afternoon. So I got set. I took the bow and arrow, and I lined up the shot. My mom walks by the back door, sees what we're doing. Right? She freaks out. She drops the phone, screams. I get startled. The arrow goes up. It goes over the back fence, and I hear a splash. 2 minutes later, there's a knock on our front door. It was a neighbor that used to live behind us. Used to live. He was in a full tuxedo, dripping. He was soaking wet, and he was holding my arrow. And I guess what had happened is he was out back. He was locking up. He was getting ready to go to his brother's wedding. When he hears a scream, turns around just in time to see the arrow flying towards his face. He ducks, trips, falls into the pool. I did indeed make Houchin family history. It is good. I thought it was great. My parents, not so much. Did I mention they're very proud? So, that was the end of my very short archery career. But right after that, I started doing magic. And one of the first tricks that I learned was called the ring on a stick. It's a classic of magic. I didn't have a stick, but I had an arrow. So I worked up a presentation that went something like this. I need you to take a few steps back this way, just right against the wall here.
Oh, man.
Just in case.
Tell me you don't have an arrow.
Take a deep breath and keep your hands at your side. Her ring is going to become our target.
It's my daughter-in-law. Go for it.
You get another one. Right now. I love it. It's going to be a good show. All right. Okay. It's a new bow.
Husband, you're supposed to save me.
I'm enjoying the show.
That's good.
You're just screwed. I'm sorry. The goal is to get her ring onto my arrow. So what I want you to do is take a deep breath. And it might be better if you close your eyes. The first few times that I did this, they were at birthday parties. I was a little kid, so I would have a little kid come up here and I put a target on them, had them hold the ring in front of them, and I would stand here and I would get ready. And one of the parents, almost always, would come running out screaming, push me out of the way, push the kid out of the way, and ruin my trick. So I started thinking, because I never actually intended to shoot the person. Isn't that kind of a relief?
Well, where are you going to go now?
That's the evolutionary part, right?
Okay.
I never intended to shoot the person. What was supposed to happen was I would get a laugh, and then I would magically make the ring appear onto the arrow. But after a while, I started to think about it, and I thought, well, what if I did not bring my volunteer up and threatened to shoot her? The conclusion I came to was that it would be a lot less fun for me, so I still do it. I'm just trying to be honest. So I started to think about it, and I thought, well, what if we did something different with the arrow? What if you held the arrow? And what if it wasn't so much a physical arrow, but a metaphorical arrow? What if we did something different with your ring here? What if the ring kind of became our metaphorical arrow? And what if we took this ring and did something strange? What if I took it and I ripped right down the ring? Now, if that ring was our metaphorical arrow, well, then the target would be you, right?
Kind of like that.
Look at your necklace.
Look at
I'll keep the arrow. Thank you so much.
Oh,
And that is the evolution of the master. Thank you.
that was great.
Thank you.